Thank you for staying with us. We continue on the never-ending story of taxation. The Ghana Publishers Association is worried about value-added tax being applied on books, or the plan to implement them on books. The group says government wrote to them asking them to charge an extra 21% VAT on all books except for those sanctioned by the Ministry of Education. Now, the group believes this move will cripple the book publishing industry and increase the cost of books. That's the bottom line. We're joined by President of the Association, Asari Konedu Yamwa. Mr. Yamwa, a very good morning to you. Hello, Mr. Yamwa.
Good morning, please.
Thank you very much for joining the conversation this morning.
My pleasure.
I think we'll need to up the volume so I can hear exactly what you're saying.
Please.
So, Mr. Yamwa, when exactly did you get this communication to you?
No, it was a part of the amended VAT law of 2023. And therefore, I think 2023 or thereabout. So it was included that imported books are to be VATed. So I think the implementation starts this year, January.
Okay, so
when you import books, for instance, or when you print books from outside, you are going to pay the 21% VAT. I think at the port, you pay at the port.
You pay 21% at the port. So this is already being implemented as we speak.
Yes, it was supposed to have started in January.
I'm asking, is it being implemented? Have your members?
Yes, some members have been paid that amount of money at the port.
Okay, since January this year.
Yes.
Now, when this came to the fore, as far as the proposals, the budget, the VAT, what was your response? Did you push against it?
Yeah, we actually, initially when the law was passed, amended, what we did was to invite the Ghana Revenue Authority to a meeting.
Right.
More or less like a sensitization meeting where they had to come and explain to us. And then we filed questions and clarifications. After that, we had a meeting and decided that we need to work in ensuring that this thing is lifted. You see, the whole issue is not about publishers trying to rake in more profit and therefore the VAT should be abolished. It's about the situation of education in the country. Books are so critical to education delivery. It is very critical to culture and promotion of literacy and reading. We all bear with us that most books, Ghanaian publishers are doing their best, but we are also importing books from outside. And therefore, if you want to burden parents and schools with increase in the cost of books, it is unfortunate. It is not about getting revenue. Because at the end of the day, I am just challenging GRA and the Ministry of Finance to do their calculation and, of course, get to know whether indeed the VAT is giving us some benefit or is rather disadvantaging the country. You end up making books more expensive, and we cannot buy books. We are thinking about the public servants. We're thinking about the people of Ghana, parents, students, and teachers, school administrators. If you increase the books by VAT, so for instance, a book that is being sold for 40 cedis, automatically will have to be increased by 21%, and you look at the implications. So our issue is more to do with the national interest rather than some parochial interest that perhaps somebody sitting back there would think that that's what we are doing.
Tell me, so who will be paying for this? We know that books sanctioned by the Ministry of Education will not have these. I mean, if you look at the generality of it, are there more books from those that are not sanctioned by the ministry or the GES that will be affected by this? Who exactly will be paying for it?
No, the books, the cost will be transferred to the consumer. And the only thing that the law has said that only books that are approved by the ministry, so to speak, are exempted. That clause of approval is what we seek also to clarify. So in our letter to the minister, we said that that issue should be clarified. Which books constitute approval? Is it that all books that have been approved by NACA are exempted? Or is it that books that the ministry decides to procure for schools are the ones that are exempted? It has to be clarified.
So you've not even got that clarity yet as it is being implemented.
Yes, it's being implemented. So now, even books that have been approved by NACA that are being printed outside, you are being asked to pay the VAT at the port.
Wow. Have you interacted with NACA on this? What have they told you?
Yeah, we wrote to NACA and copied the minister. And as he said, some of the issues NACA had said clearly, of course, which we agree, that is beyond them. The issue of VAT, the issue of taxes, is not at the bosom of NACA. But the issue of clarifying which books are exempted from this VAT is still hanging.
You mentioned that initially you had an engagement with the GRA, right?
Yes.
And they've still not been able to smoothen some of these creases in terms of understanding for you?
What they said that the questions that the officials that came had to file our questions and send it to the office for clarification. And so far, we've not met them. So we've written again to GRA for another meeting. You see, this has to be resolved. Otherwise, it brings confusion to the whole system.
Yes, and in terms of resolving it, I mean, with things standing as they are, what do you forecast to be the impact on your industry?
You see, the industry will be impacted because the sales will be slow. But you see, the issue is about improving education, reading, and literacy. Books are becoming expensive. Reading books for literacy promotion, reading books for improving the level of literacy and all that in the schools are becoming expensive. Of course, because of the cost of production already high, we are witnessing another increase of the cost by the VAT that is going to be added to it. You see, publishers, as I told you, this is VAT. We will just transfer it to the consumer. But we also have to think about the future of the country, especially when it comes to education, literacy, and reading. Already we have a deficit of literacy, improvement in literacy. And this is going to contribute greatly to this deficit that we have. So we have written to TUC on the angle of the suffering of the parents and workers, that they should see with us. It is not about publishers. It's about the country. It's about how workers are going to bear the cost and how it's going to affect education. It's going to affect the income of the ordinary worker.
Now, if I even gauge with the 40 CDs that you gave me, if I calculate 21% on that, that amounts to 8 CDs and 40 pesos. So that means a book that is going for 40 CDs brought in by your association would likely now shoot up to almost 50 CDs,
yeah,
48 CDs and 40 pesos.
50 CDs.
Right. What steps then? What steps should we expect from your group on the back of this? Because you've engaged NACA, they are telling you, and I think justifiably so, they are not involved in taxes. The rules are there. The GRA is not giving you any feedback. What then is your next move?
Now, the next move, of course, as I told you, is what we are engaging TUC.
Okay.
And, we've written formally to TUC. We've met with them once, and we've articulated our position to them, and we expect that they also will take it up and also work along with us to make sure that this VAT, it is not going. To me, it's a nuisance tax and must be off. It is not going to solve any revenue shortfall for the government.
I'm interested in this. You describe this new VAT, 21% on books, apart from those sanctioned by the Ministry of Education, to be nuisance taxes. I'm just curious, since you're talking about the TUC and all of that, there's the 15% VAT on electricity, there's the emissions levy, where you're paying anything between 75 cedis, motorbikes and the rest, and over 300 cedis. And now this, in addition to everything else that we know, the e-levy and everything in between. Where then does that leave the members of your association, especially in respect of the February 13 planned demonstration? Where does that leave you in the middle of all this?
You see, the challenge, of course, with the business and trade is that we are a business advocacy organization. Members advocating right conditions for our members. We will continue to advocate. We will continue to speak to authorities. We will continue to dialogue. I think that should be the way forward.
Right.
We cannot go and demonstrate because I believe the demonstration will not bring any effect to us. But
right.
If we are able to articulate our issues quite clearly and bringing out the national interest issue, and of course the challenge to me of what benefits the government will accrue to the government with these taxes vis-a-vis your education, your culture, and all that. So I am of the view that the route that we've taken is the best. We will continue to dialogue. We will continue to work, and we'll continue to engage them. We are expecting a meeting with the DRA.
All right, so even if the taxes remain and everything, all you will do is continue to engage?
There's nothing we can do about that. All we do is just to engage and let them see reason with us.
All right.
And we are hoping, hopefully by mid of the year, if everything is clear, maybe the tax will be waived.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Yamwa, for joining the conversation with us this morning. Asari Konedu Yamwa is president of the Ghana Publishers Association. He joined us to talk about that 21% VAT that has been imposed on books that are not sanctioned by the Ministry of Education. Well, we move on from there. We'll be having another conversation shortly on the AM show, Prostat 60. They'll be joining us. Do stay.